This week on This Week in Blernsball.
Anyway, about my wash tub. I just used it that morning to wash my turkey, which in those days was known as a walking bird. We'd always have a walking bird on Thanksgiving.
Then after World War II, it got kind of quiet till Superman challenged FDR to a race around the world. FDR beat him by a furlong, or so the comic books would have you believe. The truth lies somewhere in between.
Not many people know this, but I own the first radio in Springfield. Not much on the air then, just Edison reciting the alphabet over and over. Hey, he'd say. Then B. C would usually follow.
3 wars back, we called sauerkraut Liberty Cabbage, and we called Liberty Cabbage Super Slaw. And back then, a suitcase was known as a Swedish lunchbox. Of course, nobody knew that but me. Anyway, long story short, is a phrase whose origins are complicated and rambling.
Well, you're really asking two questions there. The first one takes me back to 1934. Admiral Byrd had just reached the pole, only hours ahead of the Three Stooges. And I guess he won that argument, but I walked away with the turnips. Welcome to This Week in Blernsball. Blow them to Bako bits with a well-placed warning shot. I am your co-host, Ben Bloom. With me, as always, co-host, executive producer, Jacob Morris. And... I didn't
know where you were going. I didn't know where you were going with that for a sec.
Oh, dude.
I just didn't recognize the drum riff.
Oh, yeah. There's a killer drum fill at the beginning of the old Hawaii 5-0 intro. It's like a proper like.
Yeah. No, once you hit the guitar riff, I totally got that. Also, 50th episode spectacular. Take that, haters.
Of which there's like 3.
Hey, we made it 50 episodes. We are more than a year old.
And we have not been canceled.
Take that. Well, I mean, take that, network.
Those idiots at the Box Network can't shut us down.
Yeah. And unlike so many people in baseball, we haven't done anything, touchy-feely.
Jesus. Yeah, you would think being a decent human being who respects women, who respects human beings, who isn't a racist, who isn't a homophobe, you'd think those would be easy. And again,
not high bars to clear, folks.
But that's the thing. We think they're not high bars to clear because that's how we were brought up.
Yeah. Generally decent human beings. Pat on the back for doing an easy job.
For doing the bare minimum.
Here you go, white man. Here's a medal for doing the bare minimum.
Good job, Jews. It's not your fault this time.
Uh-oh. Speaking of Jews in space, did you get your space laser?
I want to laugh at this, but it's a serious threat to our democracy.
Well,
by that I mean the planet.
Yeah. But we'll get back to Jews in space. Coming up next week, Jews in space! Man, we're on a tangent already. This is to meet last week's tangent quota, folks.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like a budget surplus. If you don't spend it, you don't get it for next year.
Yes, that's how a budget surplus works, right?
Again, my eyes.
I've never had one.
Yeah, my eyes glazed over during the whole GameStop thing last week. For me, a budget surplus is one time when, like, when one of my floor editors came in with a bunch of Beyond Burgers from A&W on Canada Day. Like,
Beyond
that was lit.
Burgers. Yeah. So, where we're right, baseball. Me too.
I mean, just like incredible work by the Athletic. Just really, just more, just like gut wrenching and unpleasant revelations about Mickey Callaway. That's his name, right?
Mickey Callaway, yeah. Former Mets manager, current Angels pitching coach. Well, I mean, he's been suspended now, so current Angels pitching coach. Yeah, no, just I read the article and it made my skin crawl. Like, just absolutely gross behavior. And we'll very briefly go into it here so you know what we're talking about. But essentially, he sexually abused. No, I don't know if abused is the right word.
I don't think abused is the right word. I think
he abused his position to sexually harass a number of female team employees and reporters. The grossest one was where he was sending them explicit text messages, including topless photos of himself and saying, well, you got to send me one back. Like, dude, come on.
Again, irrespective of baseball, this is something that
no good human being should do.
Again, like, no one should be doing this. These are unwanted advances. It's just gross on every level. And again, like, for as much as we rip on the Mets, this isn't just a Mets problem. This is all of society problem. And again, baseball is not even immune. Like, baseball is part of society. Like,
baseball is a microcosm of society. And baseball actually probably has this problem exist more than society because it's relatively affluent and relatively white individuals. And that is where these problems tend to take place.
And yeah, again, for the full look at the investigation by some really like exceptional journalists, go to The Athletic and check out their full investigation. Again, like Jacob said, it's unsettling to read, but
it took me more than one shot to get through the whole read. Like, I had to put it down and go take the dog for a walk and just clear out to be able to get through it. It was quite upsetting.
Brittany Garoli, Katie Strang were the two writers on that Athletic investigation. Wanted to make sure they were given credit where it's due.
Phenomenal team of writers at The Athletic. I mean, in general, they've done a great job at putting together a phenomenal team of writers, editors, support staff. And in an era where print media and in-depth writing is dying, it's worth throwing a few bucks their way to get some of the best sports writing that's out there.
And if you can read local, but that's an uphill friggin' battle. Believe me. I mean, there's a reason I'm not still in Halifax working at the local paper.
Well, I mean, they were also on strike for like 3 years.
Quite literally while I was in school, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they have a rebel paper for a while?
I mean, I'm going to choose not to comment because of possible friends and connections. I'm not going to sell anyone I know upriver.
Fair enough.
Or am I? No, fuck no.
No,
Speaking of things that like really took myself at least like 3 attempts to read. Did you read from ESPN the story of Drew Robinson?
Yeah.
Okay, that
was wow.
I needed 3 like breaks throughout that. Like, genuinely, like, another difficult read, another necessary read if you are in the right frame of mind to read it. Just holy fucking shit. Like, we're starting off real heavy, but like, again, Jeff Passan with an incredible look, and I'm sure like there's going to be an E60 on this, like, for people who like can do the viewing. But fucking shit.
Yeah, no, it's It's been a rough week for social justice in baseball.
I mean, yeah, like running the full gamut of like serious societal issues from, from workplace harassment to, mental health issues. Like, again, like baseball is a part of society, baseball is a microcosm of society. If you look at the percentages of people dealing with mental health issues, with suicidal thoughts, and it's just, again, like it definitely, if you're in the right frame of mind, it's a worthwhile read, but it is not an easy read
No,
by any
it's
means.
not an easy read by any means. And terrific job by Passon. Again, we've pitched his work on the podcast a number of times. He's one of the great writers. I mean, sports writers right now in general,
Mhm.
but especially baseball focused. If you can read his stuff, read his stuff.
Yeah, I have to look at pictures of your dog to recuperate
Yeah.
after that. Jesus Christ, like heavy stuff,
And,
man.
and then we didn't even get good baseball news to help us bounce back from that because we were talking about a potential labor war this week.
Yeah, so I mean, we were like offline. We were talking about how we're gonna have more labor like fights than actual games played.
Yeah, so there was a proposal from MLB to shorten the season to 154 games. Players would get full 162 game salary for this. And as part of this package, there would be universal DH, expanded playoffs, a number of other rule tweaks and revenue sharing tweaks. But the players rejected this and didn't propose a counteroffer. Now, why they did this from a labor negotiations perspective makes sense. And this is because the players don't want to reopen the CBA right now. The players are happy with how the collective bargaining agreement is structured until it expires at the end of the 2021 season. And by sending back a counter offer, they would be reopening the CBA, which they don't want to do. They feel that any counter offer would be disadvantageous to them.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I think we both saw the same thread on Twitter from the labor lawyer. And as an aside, I now have a trade lawyer as a contact if we ever need a guy.
I think we might, the way this is steering. No, the good thing is that means since the CBA isn't open, the
Mhm.
league can't lock the players out. There would need to be an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, like there was last spring, where both sides
Yeah.
agreed that it is not safe to continue playing. We need
Mhm.
to shut down. So as things stand right now, spring training starts in 2 weeks. Now, there will be a memorandum of understanding that says, yeah, nobody's coming into the stadiums, I hope.
Yes. You, keep the people out of the stadia. Like, again, we are still in the weeds. We are dans la merde.
Yeah.
We like I
Now,
don't
like, who knows? Maybe by the end of the summer, we'll be having people back in. We'll be able to see games live. But right now, no, 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 no.
yes, by the end of summer 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it, in terms of like the rolling list of sports plans being pushed aside, the most recent one that impacts me is that the Toronto Arrows rugby season is moving to Atlanta for their home games.
At least the first half of the
At
schedule was
least
my
the
read of it. Yeah.
Founders Club member. What up?
What up?
I mean, so yeah, and again, like in like the larger landscape of Canadian sports, MLR is by no means a big player. But again, in my head, that's canaries and coal mines. Like,
Well, there was just in the last 24 hours, the NWHL canceled the rest of their season.
oh yeah, the bubble burst in Lake Placid.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Like, I mean, Toronto had a team. Like,
Yeah. And
that's
Toronto had
Toronto's
a
thing.
good team. Like
Yeah,
I
they were
think you
picking
should
up
give them the cup.
momentum.
They finished first overall.
I mean, like, this isn't soccer. We don't just give like a regular season championship trophy.
Yes, we do, damn it. And the National Lacrosse League canceled their plans for the 2021 season.
Oh fuck! Seriously?
Yeah, they were
Shit.
planning on playing their entire season in the spring and early summer, and they said, just given the conditions and the issues with cross-border travel, it is unfeasible.
That's really unfortunate. I mean, like I never played lacrosse beyond, you know, like picking up like a plastic stick and tossing it around, but no, like that is unfortunate. Like, because I know people who are like deep into lacrosse,
And now with 2 consecutive seasons canceled, that's an issue for their financial viability.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And all that to say, I was briefly excited by like the sight of another podcast doing a history of Israeli baseball, but like,
remember the Israeli Baseball League?
oh man, the
was
IBL.
That the Benchwarmers?
No, it was a different podcast. It was a different podcast talking about, they were doing like a retrospective on how, like, back when Israel won its first Olympic medals in judo, it led to judo getting huge in the country. And like at that time, like in 1994, I think, or 92, there's a guy who said, I want to do that for baseball. And then like 30
they're
whatever
in the
years.
Olympics, and I really, really hope that the Tokyo Olympics go ahead for, I mean, a number of reasons, but that's one of them.
I mean, I can think of, you know, a lot of people in Langley, BC, who I want to go to the Olympics so that the women's rugby team can improve on their medal performance. I want the men's rugby team to do well. All the other sports, sure, I guess, but as a safety thing, I mean, I would like to have a serious sit down with Dick Pound about his ideas, because I mean,
Oh, Dick. And look, anybody who insists that they go by the name Dick, I have some serious questions about. Especially the guy whose last name is Pound. Met him once. Called him Mr. Pound. He said, no, you can call me Dick. I was like, okay.
I mean, I was doing that anyway before I knew his name.
Fair enough. But
I mean, yeah, I don't know how feasible an Olympics are. There's like billions of dollars and geopolitics tied up in it.
I know. I'm TAing a course about that right now. Look, I've been of the opinion, essentially since coronavirus started being a big thing, that they probably should have delayed it till 2022. Any sort of pandemic would have been large scale enough that 1 year delay probably wouldn't be enough. It's not like they don't have experience with running 2 Olympic Games in 1 year. They did this all the time back in the essentially 20s through to 80s.
Yeah, so, like Lake Placid was the same year as Moscow, right? Or was that Moscow and then Los Angeles was the same year as something else?
Los Angeles was the same year as...
Oh, Seoul, Calgary were both 88.
Seoul, Calgary were both 88. What was Los Angeles the same year as? Sarajevo. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hey, I mean, it's a real ghost town now.
So's Athens.
I mean, yes, but for entirely different reasons.
Yes. The Olympics bring only good things. Look at Athens. Ooh. Oh, man. But, I mean, it would be great to see Israel at the Olympics playing baseball. Because, again, you go to Israel, hey, what do you think about the baseball team? We have a baseball team? Subtitles. What is the fuck you are talking about?
Thank you, Borat.
Again, like, he was speaking Hebrew. I understood what he was saying. It was hilarious. With a bit of Polish thrown in there for good measure.
It was essentially modern day Yiddish.
Yeah, which, I mean, most of us Ashkenazi kids don't speak it. Because let's be real, like, we came to Canada so we wouldn't have to speak Yiddish anymore.
Yep. Oh, man.
Speaking of actual baseball news, as opposed to the state of the universe and the folly of humankind,
It was actual baseball news this week?
two big baseball newses. I am going to skew bias for the first one. The expected, but still, damn it, retirement of Red Sox great Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah, we talked about this on the podcast a little bit before. I think when Kike Hernandez signed with the Red Sox, it was kind of the hair-bringer, where it was, this kind of means Pedroia's done. And it's sad, but it was, how many games has he played in the last 5 years?
Well, 5 years, I mean, he played a bunch. like it was 29, it was 2018, it was only a handful, 2019, even fewer, and then none
Didn't even
last
play in
year.
2020. Did he play that much in 2017?
He did, yeah. I mean, like, foreshadowing classic game of the week. He played in 2017, sparingly in 2018. I mean, by the time the postseason came around, then he was more clubhouse leader, key veteran, half coach, like invaluable to first-year coach and former teammate Alex Cora.
Yeah.
Remember, they won a World Series together back in 2007, which in a return of show and tell, one of my prized possessions, take it from game one of the 2007 World Series, where Dustin Pedroia led off with a home run over the monster in the bottom of the first off Canadian Jeff Francis.
Was that Rocktober?
That was Rocktober. Again, I mean,
the
where
Rockies
I'm going.
did not lose essentially the whole month of September to make that playoffs. And then didn't lose until the World Series.
Again, it's like those two Red Sox World Series, like they were down 0-3 to the Yankees. They were down 1-3 to the Clevelands, and then they swept both World Series.
Yeah.
Which, fuck, I will fucking take that. Like, holy shit. Childhood Ben was, like, over the moon. He also had hypothermia from sitting in the right field grandstands during a rainstorm.
Ooh, that's a story.
Well, I mean, again, I feel like I've talked about the 2007 World Series before, but, it's New England in October. It's cold.
Well, yeah.
It's cold. It's wet. And then the beer vendors go in. The chowder vendors come out.
Chowder. Get your chowder. Assorted fishes.
Again, from there on out, every ballpark should have soup.
Yeah. So one thing that was part of the MLB proposal was pushing the season back by a month. There would be a number of doubleheaders, and the playoffs would continue until mid-November. Could you imagine New England or New York in mid-November in the playoffs?
I mean, it would be brutal. Like, you look at the Thanksgiving Day parade, and Al Roker is so cold his hair falls out.
But
But yeah, like, that is insane. Unless you do another playoff bubble, which, I mean, and you can't have them all come up to the Sky Dome to play because that would suck.
It would.
It would really suck. But yeah, Dustin Pedroia, amazing Red Sox career.
Definitely gets the number retirement at Fenway. Now, here's
Absolutely.
the question. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Now, we know that the Hall of Fame doesn't mean shit anymore.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because at this point, like, we're just making up rules. Again, Pedroia, you go with like the high peak and then injury considerations. You look at awards and hardware, as well as, again, genuine like excellent numbers for a second baseman, on both sides of the ball.
There's 5 or 6 years where he's in the argument as best second baseman in all of baseball. And
again, he was coming up in a time with a lot of really good second basemen. Like pre-Royds Cano was around during that time.
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, he won an MVP, didn't he?
2008 MVP, 2007 Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Why did I do it backwards?
No. He definitely was MVP after he was Rookie of the Year.
Yes. No, like what? No, why did I do it chronologically?
Oh. Right or no, righty?
And and again, like we talk at length about, if his jersey wasn't covered in clay, he didn't play.
Yeah. He seems like the guy, and I think this is where we're gonna end up with Johan Santana. He's not in the Hall, but I think he will get into the Hall. And I think it's the same thing with Pedroia. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? No.
Again,
although he gets that Red Sox homerism that Santana doesn't get because he was a Minnesota Twin.
Yeah.
But I think he builds that momentum. I think by the time he's been on the ballot for a few years, he gets in because there's that consideration of he played for a while. Injuries derailed him, but at his peak, he was
one of the best players on one of the best teams.
Yeah. And
that has to factor into it too.
That absolutely factors into it. He has the team hardware. He has the individual hardware. He has
4 Gold Gloves is nothing to scoff at.
No, and he has
a Silver Slugger.
Yeah, he's got the Silver Slugger. He's got the MVP. He's got the Gold Gloves. He was in conversation for best player in all of baseball for a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. Is he a edge case? Yes, but I think he's there.
Yeah, and by all accounts, a great teammate, an excellent mentor, and a real pain in the ass if you were on the other team.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see him pop up somewhere in a coaching or managerial role in 4 or 5 years.
For sure. I mean, again, the guy was also a quote machine. I mean,
yeah, that's for sure.
Laser show. Although my favorite was like when he took a team-friendly deal, he's like, "What do you mean? I'm rich as fuck."
Yeah. Quote machine.
Yeah. So again, congratulations, PD, on a great career. Again, and the article I sent you from SB Nation about like he was the Red Sox for a huge swath of fans in our age demographic. Again, that wasn't ghost written by me.
You sure? It sure felt like it was.
I can remember his first game in Toronto because I was there being like, he's going to be something. Because
he was something else. He was a great, and it's unfortunate he didn't get a farewell tour.
And again, like, it's almost appropriate that he didn't get a farewell tour because like he didn't get like a welcoming party either.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, neither did Big Papi or Mariano Rivera, but they also played forever.
Yeah, so, and Papi was a Twin as well. Like, good job, Minnesota.
Yeah, good job, Minnesota, creating all of this great talent and then giving it away for free.
I mean, Papi good on Joe Mauer for
saying, by the Twins.
He did, and Pedro said, "You got to get this guy on our team."
Well, Pedro actually said, "You got to get this guy on our team," but
that's what I said without
the accent.
Yes.
And the mild racism?
Yes.
Yes.
And speaking of Rocktober, those fucking idiots.
How do you have to pay another team $50 million to take Nolan Arenado?
How do you have to pay the Cardinals $50 million? I know they're Midwestern and aw shucks, but they have money.
They're the Ned Flanders of baseball. They've got Leftorium money.
Oh my. They've got Cloud9 money, which again, I know we're just getting into shows late, but man, Cloud9 makes me happy on the inside.
Yeah, it's nice.
Mostly because of America Ferrera's name tags, but also because of the shoes that Garrett wears in every episode.
Yeah.
Killer sneaker collection. And also because Dina is the true successor to Dwight Schrute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like Glenn because he sounds like a Muppet. But Jerusha doesn't think I should. So the Colorado Rockies, their ownership then comes out and tries to galaxy brain this, harebrained decision.
You know it was a bad decision when your team's social media department says it was a bad decision.
Because it was a bad decision.
Trade his official crying face emoji.
And again, Nolan Arenado is going to kill it in St. Louis. Like
the frickin' Cardinals.
They did a reverse Pujols with this one.
Yeah.
They again, like a guy who's not old. They're gonna he could leave in the future, but he's not gonna fucking leave. He's in the NL Central on the team that just won't die.
They're like the Terminator.
Yeah, they'll be back.
Now, is there any team in the Central that's even going to challenge the Cardinals at this point?
Well, the Cubs don't exist anymore.
Cubs are tearing it down. Man, I want to see what happens with Chris Bryant. We're like 2 weeks away, not even, from spring trading opening, and he's still a Cub.
Yeah. I mean, as long as he's not a Yankee, we're good.
Oh, speaking of that, happy Mookie Betts trade anniversary.
Fuck off. I was trying to gloss over the... It's certainly an indignity because Mookie is awesome and he deserves another 3 World Series wins and another 3 MVP trophies.
Yeah. At least it was only going to be 1 year in Los Angeles, right? And then you could just re-sign him.
Again, why did you trade Mookie for nothing? And then why did you trade David Price with him? He was finally good.
Yeah. Although apparently the Dodgers are looking at trading Price.
God damn it. So now they'll get even more stuff in return off of this idiot trade. God damn it. I had almost put it out of my mind. Like, what the hell am I going to therapy for if not to forget the Mookie Betts trade?
Oh, deep-seated emotional issues from your childhood?
Mostly having to do with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, sports are the cause of most of our issues.
Which, again, we have pretty fortunate lives if that is the case.
Yeah, fair enough.
Chris Sterling Mallory Archer is back in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. No, not Pittsburgh. Tampa.
Oh, right. Back in Tampa. What was I thinking of? Oh, he
was from
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. He went from Tampa to Pittsburgh to Tampa. And now that he's back in Tampa, he's going to regain Cy Young form, and everybody's going to go, why did nobody pay for this guy?
Absolutely. Because, again, it's going to be the Yankees, Rays, and Blue Jays. Or the Blue Jays, Rays, and Yankees.
Yeah. So prognosticators, for what they're worth, are saying Blue Jays, Padres, in the World Series. And I would be so down for that.
Oh, man. That would just be the funnest World Series.
The fun series, yeah.
The oldest people are like 23.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's George Springer. But George Springer is 31, but he feels 25.
I don't think I think he's still in college.
Yeah.
Again, you got Tatis on the cover of the show, or is he on
the show, which is coming to Xbox now.
Ooh, shiny.
And supporting cross-platform play.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you could play on the PlayStation against your friends who are on the Xbox.
Ooh. Now we are talking.
Yeah, but the big news from the show this week was their special edition version of it, which features Jackie Robinson on the cover.
Oh, fuck, that is awesome.
That is awesome. So you can get the Steelbook edition with Jackie Robinson on the cover. It also has Jackie Robinson's signature on the cover. And in addition to getting all kinds of in-game bonuses, you're obviously paying extra for this edition because it's the special edition. $1 from every purchase of the special edition goes to the Jackie Robinson Foundation.
Everyone buy it.
Yeah. So when I buy MLB The Show 21 for PlayStation 5, I'm buying the Jackie Robinson Special Edition.
As you should. I mean, fuck, that is maybe a little more than $1 Major League Baseball. Come on.
Well, it is because it sells for $89 American, so it's a little more than 1% of all sales.
Okay, so I can see that being like end up being a substantial sum at the end of the day. Now I'm thinking about The Office when like Michael donates $25 per kilometer.
Yeah. Whoops. I declare bankruptcy.
Michael, you can't just say bankruptcy. I didn't say it. I declared
it. Yeah. So it is. I didn't want to do the math, but I think it's like 1.2% of gross sales from the sale of the special edition.
You know, I'm going to do the math right now and like see how many, like if they sell this X many copies, how much goes to it.
Yeah. Do the math.
Bam, I say.
Yeah. So it looks awesome. In addition to it being Jackie Robinson on the cover, it's Jackie Robinson as a Brooklyn Dodger on the cover, which I believe is the first time that the Brooklyn Dodgers have ever been acknowledged in a video game. Because the Dodgers are awesome from Brooklyn. And there's all kinds of in-game special features in addition to it being the awesome Jackie Robinson cover version. There's actually several different special versions of it that all have Jackie on the cover. You done doing the math yet?
No.
Vamping is hard.
I did it wrong.
Vamping is hard. How hard is 1 divided by 90?
Wait, that's what we're doing?
1 divided by 90 is what percentage it is.
No, I'm doing I'm doing 89 times 10 million. So that's 890 million. And then multiplied that by 0.01 equals $8 million to the Jackie Robinson Foundation if they sell 10 million copies.
You know, it's just $1 from 10 million copies is $10 million, right?
Why was I doing math?
I don't know.
Why would you make me do math? What was I doing?
I don't know. This was Ben's math corner.
Again, like 89 times 10 million equals 890 million times 0.01.
But it's not 1%, it's $1.
Oh.
They did the easy math.
What was I doing?
Oh. The
math
hard
is
math.
hard.
This is why Ben is a journalist.
I mean, did I just Colorado Rockies this?
You're just Colorado Rockies this. You Galaxy brand it.
Oh, so I Kevin cashed it.
Yes, you did. Let's take out our pitcher of the 5th inning.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Oh, and Blake Snell is on the Padres. Did we talk about that?
We did talk about that. What could possibly go wrong? That's the first thing that's ever gone wrong here. Shall we move on to our classic games of the week?
Mercifully, we shall. I am excited about that video game, though.
Yes, I am very excited about that video game. And not only because the Blue Jays will be good in it.
God damn it. So, I can go first if you'd like.
Yes, go ahead.
I am going with July 3rd, 2017, Red Sox at Rangers. I know middle of the summer game before July 4th Independence Day. Red Sox 7, Rangers 5. I'm picking it for one play and one play only. Bottom of the 9th. Carlos Gomez chops the ground to the 3rd. Devin Marrero overthrows it at first. It takes a carom. Dustin Pedroia is there, half like on a 75-degree angle, bare hands it, flips it to first base, tags him out, sends it to extra innings. Just one of those crazy, like, how the hell did that happen moments. And of course, Dustin Pedroia is involved. So just even late in his career, still had that defensive awareness to know, okay, play's never dead. Like, and he played it like legends never die type baseball. I can send you the link of the GIF, but it is amazing. like it caroms off of like one of the weird old Globe Life ballpark Arlington brought to you by Whataburger fences, and he just like fully John Woos it.
Yeah. So I am picking. It's
Oh,
not
he had 4 RBI that game too, just because.
Nice. I am picking. It wasn't a particularly important game in any sense, but it was a fun game from a weird season. August 20th, 2020. It was the second game of a doubleheader. The Jays were playing the Phillies in Buffalo.
As they should.
This was a weird-ass season.
Yeah.
The Jays spotted the Phillies a 7-0 lead.
I remember this game.
In the first inning. And came back to win 9-8 in the seventh. Because it was a 7-inning doubleheader. So you had to win in 7 innings.
Oh man. It's a weird fucking season, eh?
Weird fucking season.
Good choice.
Nothing particularly special about it. It was just a weird fucking game.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with weird fucking games, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Futurama episode of the week. I think we're getting into the danger zone now that we're at episode 50.
Danger zone!
So we've encountered a slight problem. There's a finite number of Futurama episodes and an infinite number, which again, finite and infinite is not like flammable and inflammable. They don't mean the same thing.
Inflammable means flammable? What a country!
Thank you, Dr. Nick. And that brings us to the solution to our problem. So with a finite number of Futurama episodes, we here at This Week in Blernsball have decided that we are going to invoke the grandfather clause. Specifically, the Grandpa Simpson clause.
The year was 19-dickety-2. I have to say dickety because the Kaiser had stolen the word for 20. Now, I chased after him, but I had to give up because I got tired after dickety 6 miles. Now, I'd like to diverge from my prepared remarks to say some things about...
Well, the important thing was we were going over to Morganville, which was what we called Shelbyville at the time. And so you needed to take the ferry. So I put an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. And we had to take the ferry over to Morganville, which back then was what we called Shelbyville. And it cost you back then there were bumblebees on nickels. Give me 5 bees for a nickel.
5 bees for a quarter, we'd say.
Now, where was I? Oh, right, the onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. And that's the important thing to remember.
Of course, nobody knew that except for me.
And of course, we didn't have Spanish onions because of the war.
Yes, so the Futurama episode of the week will now also accept Simpsons episodes of the week.
And why? Because no money down.
No, money down.
Which is an anticlimactic way of saying I actually do have a Futurama episode.
Ooh, well, I don't.
So I am going with Cold Warriors.
I think you've done this one.
I have with Gedgie's Science Project? Oh, yes, I have. Yeah. Good thing they didn't use Fry's Project. Yeah. But I was thinking about the state of the world and how, it would be so easy to just put Toronto in a Ziploc bag and shoot it into the sun.
It really would. Yeah, no, you have used Cold Warriors.
Okay, in that case, I will go with a distraction.
So I'll go with mine. I have a Simpsons episode, and it is a baseball relevant one.
Is it the one where Mike Scioscia comes back?
It is the one where Mike Scioscia comes back. MoneyBart.
Ooh, that is a good one. Which, again, it reasserts the dilemma of nerds versus jocks in terms of who rules baseball.
Yes, so Lisa becomes the manager of Bart's Little League team, implements all kinds of Moneyball strategies, which pisses off Bart because he's the jock but it makes him irrelevant. And then he fights back with baseball, old school strategies. And Lisa gets a lesson from Mike Scioscia, who it turns out didn't die from nuclear radiation poisoning.
Oh, man. Will I still be able to play softball or speak at normal cadence? No, Mike, you won't make it through the night. Oh, man. Poor Mike Scioscia. He just wanted to work in the Corps.
He did just want to work in the Corps. But it turns out he was okay.
Because nuclear poisoning, doesn't apply in cartoons.
Nope, it doesn't. And he won lots of World Series rings. And Bart blows the championship because he tries to steal home. But it's okay because it reminds everyone that baseball is fun.
Yay, fun.
Distraction.
Cobras.
Your episode.
My episode? All right. I mean, pressed into a corner to pick a Simpsons episode, I'm going with You Only Move Twice, the greatest episode of The Simpsons ever created.
Scorpio! He'll sting you with his dreams of power and wealth.
Scorpio! His only two passions are global domination and his employees' health. With hot dogs and mustard and beer, he loves German beer.
Scorpio!
Such a good episode. You ever seen a guy say goodbye to a pair of shoes? Yeah, once. Oh, man. Such a good episode. And now I have plans for the rest of today.
Scorpio!
Oh, man. This was a pretty complete episode. Amazing we're still going with this much gas at 50.
Right? I thought we'd have been well out at this point, but nope.
Nope. Legends never die.
Legends never die.
Oh, man. And if you like all these movie references and quotes, be sure to like us on any of the podcatchers you're listening to this podcast on.
Good use of the word podcatcher.
Yes, which is a made-up word because nothing means anything anymore.
Nothing means anything anymore. So we're available pretty much anywhere podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. Yeah, we're on Stitcher.
And if anyone ever asks you to pay for this podcast, it is a scam unless it is one of us asking you to pay.
Please pay us money.
Pay him money.
So
I'm embezzling from elsewhere.
And wherever you find us, give us 5 stars and a good review. It helps other people find the podcast and enjoy us. And if you don't like us, why are you listening?
We will fight you.
Thanks, Mom. You could also follow us on social media. We're at TWI Blernsball on Twitter and Instagram. We're This Week in Blernsball on Facebook and YouTube, where you can watch our visual gags. There weren't very many visual gags this week. We got to up the visual gag quota, Ben. Up that quota. ABC. Always be gagging.
Well, no, there was just a killer bunny that ran across my screen. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Well, do shadow puppets work over video chat? I don't know.
Oh, I don't remember.
Jesus Christ, that's a killer bunny.
You could also follow myself and Ben. I'm at JMS Morris on both Twitter and Instagram. Ben is at Benjamin K. Bloom on both Twitter and Instagram. And you can also follow the podcast mascot, Ampersand the Puppy. He's Ampersand the Puppy on Instagram. And he's much cuter than either of us.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. One day he'll even show up on the podcast again when he stops chewing things.
Or people.
Yes, and people.
Or people.
So I think that does it for this week on This Week in Blernsball. For all of us here at This Week in Blernsball, I'm Jacob Morris.
I'm Ben Bloom. Thank you so much for joining us.
Farewell from the world of tomorrow. Coming up next week on This Week in Blernsball.
When I read your magazine, I don't see one wrinkled face or a single toothless grin. For shame to the sickos at Modern Pride magazine.
Dear Mr. President, there are too many states nowadays. Please eliminate 3. I am not a crackpot.
Well, most of the story is true. I did wear a dress for a period in the 40s. Oh, they had designers then.
I'll be deep in the cold, cold ground before I recognize Missouri.